Meantime, the Lakers. Okay, so here's what LeBron says. There have been times when we're at our best, we look really good. And there are other times where it's disgusting.
You know what that sounds like, Ernie?
What?
Sounds like an old man. Like when you wake up in the morning, sometimes I'll be like, ooh, I feel good. Then that next day you'd be like,
that's
sciatica,
disgusting.
sciatica.
Charles Barkley went after the Los Angeles Lakers again, and this time it wasn't just playful teasing. It was a full breakdown delivered in his signature comedic style. On the latest episode of Inside the NBA, Chuck sharpened his criticism and compared the Lakers to the Washington Generals, the team famous for constantly losing to the Harlem Globetrotters. The moment he said it, the studio erupted. It wasn't just the joke that landed, it was the timing and the tone. Barkley has always mixed humor with blunt honesty, but this felt more pointed. Beneath the laughter was a clear message about inconsistency, underperformance, and unmet expectations. When he frames criticism through comedy, it hits differently. People laugh first, then they think about it. And when you compare a franchise like the Lakers, with all their history and star power, to a team known for scripted losses, that's not just trolling, that's a statement.
Like an Oprah Winfrey show. You get a basket. You get a basket. You get a basket. Everybody who plays against the Lakers, they gonna make everybody look good. I mean, they're like the Washington Generals. They every team's the Globetrotters against them. I mean, and we can keep sugarcoating it, and I know they gonna make us talk about the Lakers. The Lakers are a media.
Then came the exaggerated Oprah-style impression. And yes, he even tossed in a sciatica joke aimed straight at LeBron James. Chuck wasn't whispering, and he definitely wasn't easing into it. He went all in. And here's the uncomfortable part. Much of what he said landed a little too accurately. Before even dissecting his exact comments, it's worth appreciating the level he operates on. Charles Barkley has turned Lakers commentary into a form of performance art. At this point, it could belong in a broadcasting hall of fame. He doesn't just criticize the team, he crafts a narrative, builds tension, delivers the punchline, and somehow makes it feel justified rather than random. If you regularly watch Inside the NBA, you already understand the rhythm. He sets it up, stretches it out, and then drops the hammer in a way that feels...
Why do you hate the Lakers? Chuck, tell us. Why I hate the Lakers? It's always somebody else's fault. Remember 3 years ago, it was Russell Westbrook's fault. Then it was Frank Vogel's fault. Then it was D'Angelo Russell's fault. Then it was Darvin Ham's fault. It's always somebody else's fault. And it bothers me. Listen, you don't always blame other people for your...
The Lakers have become Chuck's most reliable source of material, not because he loves them, but because they keep giving him reasons to talk. Every inconsistency, every blown lead, every dramatic press conference turns into another setup for his next segment. And this latest stretch handed him plenty of ammunition. It all started with LeBron's own words. During a press conference, he openly admitted that there are moments when the Lakers look really good and other times when they look disgusting. That wasn't media spin or a quote taken out of context. He said it plainly, disgusting. And once that word was out there, you already knew Barkley was going to run with it.
The defensive issues on that team.
Absolutely, and like you mentioned, like Luka and Austin Reeves have been terrific offensively. Luka flirt with a triple-double every night. Austin Reeves been killing the league, averaging over 25 points, but they've been a turnstile on defense. And whoever comes to town can just beat them off the dribble, drive and kick, and get other guys open. But you wanted to also get more from DeAndre Ayton as an anchor when you acquire him as the Lakers, and he's been pedestrian a lot of times, and I just don't think the Lakers, even though LeBron does a really good job at his...
But when you open a bee's nest and all the bees is hard to block on the bees, you got DeAndre in there like this. Like, come on, it's like you got to have resistance out front.
But even offense...
Think about that for a moment. When the face of the franchise publicly describes his own team as disgusting, it sends a message. Maybe it's honesty. Maybe it's frustration. Maybe it's a mix of both. But once that quote was out there, Charles Barkley did what seasoned analysts do. He recognized the opening and attacked it perfectly. The reality is, he didn't even need to exaggerate. When your best player labels the team's performance that way, the setup is already complete. The punchline practically writes itself. Back on Inside the NBA, Barkley took that disgusting quote and flipped it into something unforgettable. He joked that the Lakers sound like an old man waking up in the morning. One day you feel great, moving smoothly, everything clicking. The next day, the sciatica flares up and suddenly nothing works the way it should. The way he connected LeBron's own words to the reality of aging was so sharp and so well-timed that the entire set burst out laughing. It didn't feel random, it didn't feel forced. It was calculated and precise. And here's the uncomfortable truth. It wasn't cruel. It was commentary wrapped in comedy, highlighting a real issue the team has struggled with: inconsistency.
True to what I keep saying, the Lakers stink, plain and simple. We have to talk about them because the media is infatuated with the Lakers, but the Lakers are not a good team. They got zero athletic ability. They got a good shot every time. The Lakers could never keep them in front of them. This was a coaching masterpiece by Jason Kidd because there's no way that team that the Mavs put out there.
It wasn't just funny, it was accurate. LeBron is now in his 40s, still logging heavy minutes at the highest level. That's historic. But realistically, bodies don't recover the same way at that age. Some nights, the Los Angeles Lakers look sharp, connected, and dangerous. Other nights, they look scattered and flat. That kind of swing doesn't happen randomly. Late career greatness often comes with volatility, especially on back-to-backs when recovery time shrinks and fatigue sets in. But Barkley never stops at the punchline, especially when the Lakers are involved. Once the laughter settled, the panel shifted into real basketball analysis, and that's where the conversation became serious. Barkley made it clear, the Lakers are a mediocre team in a Western Conference loaded with stronger, more consistent contenders. He pointed toward teams like the San Antonio Spurs, Oklahoma City, Denver, and Houston, suggesting that those are the squads worth real discussion right now. His message wasn't just about entertainment, it was about hierarchy. Then came the structural concern. The Lakers lack strong perimeter defenders at the 1, 2, and 3 spots who can consistently slow down guards and wings attacking downhill. When quick guards turn the corner, there isn't enough resistance at the point of attack. That forces help rotations. Help rotations open shooters create chaos. And that's when the jokes start sounding like scouting reports. When the first defender gets beaten off the dribble, the entire defensive system shifts into emergency mode. The big has to step up, the weak side defender rotates, the corner becomes vulnerable. Instead of dictating pace and positioning, the defense scrambles to survive. That's not identity, that's damage control. The Lakers brought in DeAndre
team. Now they got some really good teams in the West that we should be talking about because I'm starting to get on this San Antonio bandwagon right now. Obviously, we got OKC and Denver, we got Houston, but man, them Spurs, they're knocking on.
The idea was simple. Be the anchor, protect the rim, clean up mistakes, and make drivers hesitate before attacking the paint. That was the expectation, but if we're being honest, the production has been average. Not terrible, not the lone problem, but also not the kind of intimidating presence you build an entire defensive identity around. And when your perimeter defense is already leaking, average rim protection simply isn't enough. The bee's nest analogy they used actually fits perfectly. If your perimeter defenders offer little resistance, it's like kicking open a hive. Every guard who gets past that first line of defense comes downhill with speed and confidence. You can have size and length waiting inside, but when multiple drivers collapse the paint at once because no one stopped the initial move, it becomes a numbers problem. One rim protector can't contest everything. The math doesn't favor the defense. That's when breakdowns multiply. Rotations get late, shooters find space, and what starts as one missed stop at the point of attack turns into a chain reaction that stresses the
and who the team should be based on what their personnel is at that time. They are old in certain parts. They don't have perimeter.
Wait, he's the only one old.
But they don't have perimeter defense. Boom, young at the perimeter. So now there's no resistance for guys that get downhill.
Yes.
And I think that is the biggest thing. You know, yes, they don't have a great shot blockers, but they have shot block ability. But they do not have resistance at the 1, 2 and 3 position, and that is ridiculous.
Offensively, Luka Doncic and Austin Reeves have been elite. That's not hype, that's production. Luka is flirting with a triple-double almost nightly, while Reeves is pouring in over 25 points per game and doing it fearlessly. On the right night, the Los Angeles Lakers can score with anyone in the Western Conference. They have creators, they have shot makers. Hanging 120 points isn't the problem. The tension lies on the other end of the floor. When your backcourt is built to generate buckets rather than consistently stop them, you're walking a tightrope. You can win shootouts in the regular season, you can overwhelm teams offensively, but playoff basketball slows down. Possessions get hunted, weak defenders get targeted again and again. That imbalance, offensive firepower without defensive stability, is what Charles Barkley was really poking at beneath the jokes. That's where the famous Oprah impression came in. You get a basket, everybody gets a basket. It was a direct callback to Oprah Winfrey's legendary giveaway moment, but Chuck flipped it into a defensive critique. It was hilarious, but it was also painfully accurate. Right now, the Lakers' defense does feel like a giveaway show. Opposing guards walk in and look like all-stars. Role players drop career highs. Wings attack the paint like it's open gym. There's little resistance at the point of attack, and once that first defender gets beat, everything unravels. Then Barkley escalated it with the Washington Generals comparison, the team that exists to lose to the Harlem Globetrotters. Comparing a 17-time championship franchise, the organization of Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Magic Johnson, Shaquille O'Neal, and Kobe Bryant, to the Generals isn't just trolling, it's a statement. He was essentially saying that opponents step into Crypto.com arena and suddenly look like the Globetrotters, flashy, confident, putting on a show because the resistance isn't there. You can laugh at that on national TV,